Well, today's job is this little wall. It's a little bit of retaining wall, but at the same time it was just like a little fence so no one would fall away from the pool. So it was leaning this way, so I just jacked it back, put some cement under it, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Today we have this little retaining wall. You see it? And it is tipped like this. So let's take a look at it. We got to kind of push it back in place. What they did here. This part up and down is good. See, they just put some rocks to fill in. Then they put the blocks on and it tipped. So we're going to ask ourselves, so why did it tip? There's nothing wrong with the bottom one. That didn't move. Over here, that one didn't move. They got these pavers behind it and it pushed the wall. So we know right away it's the paver's fault. We're going to pick them up first. That is what's pushing the wall. And I'm going to put them behind us the same way that they went in. Just like that. Pull these pavers out. What I'm doing now is I'm digging out underneath this wall, behind the wall. What's causing this wall? The tip is the pressure that was behind it. So I got to dig all this dirt out, and then we're going to go from there. So now we got this all dug out behind the wall. We're down below the block. If you go farther down, it's gravel under there. You see the gravel? But they didn't have the gravel up here. That's what caused the wall to push. Before I go ripping the whole wall down, let's do a little common sense masonry work. Let's see, you can't push this wall back. See it going? Good to me. Yeah, see, we can get this wall back. We don't have to do nothing. So we're gonna see if that goes in there. Like that. Now, these are my wedge chisels. You see that? I'm gonna use them to get this back up. I lift this up. Push that wedge chisel in to hold it up. See, that part of the wall is straight. Come over here. That part of the wall is straight. And this one, that part of the wall is straight. So actually, so far, I got the wall back and leaning this way. I'm just going to get everything lined up inside, put the pavers back, and I'm done. I got a piece of stone here. I'm going to use this for shims. Get this out of here. What's the fight me? I'm going to use this for shims. I'm going to go down here, shim this up. That stone. So it kind of matches. See how it matches in there? That's what the owner had originally. I got to lift the piece up, shim it in there before I cement it. Then I could pull my chisels out. So I try to clean the spaces out in here. I got to bring this one up. Mortar. Mortar don't work in Pennsylvania. So I got to get this one up. That's it. It's all back. A little more fine adjusting. So this whole wall is back farther than it was at the beginning, which was what I want and she wants. So I'm going to explain that. Now, got to glue this place back in place. So I've been taking some off of the top like that so I could do such a thing. It's going to fit in there like that. And this piece is going to fit like that. So before I mix my cement, there, I got to make sure they fit. Now I'm going to clean it all off. And I'm going to cement I got it wedged in here with my wedge pieces. And I'm going to mix my cement. Now for my folding together, I'm going to get a rapid set mortar mix. And just enough, because this stuff will be dry in 10 minutes. I just want to get enough to do what I want to do. I add my water. Just like that. Mix it up. This is going to be for holding it. And then I'm going to mix something different. That's that. We're ready. Now the main purpose of the rapid set is to get it in all those places holding the wall up. So whatever you got to do to get it in there, that's what we're doing. This is to shore the wall up. Get a pin slicker, get it way in there, just like that. So we know that stuff is going to be good. I'm going to put that piece back in, and they don't make these blocks the same. Remember I told you if you want something to stick, you wet it first. Now, that don't apply to brickwork or block work. It's going to apply to this. So, do that first. Let me get some of that rapid set. Plaster it on there. Just like that. That's going to make that stick. And just like sticking on stone, put it right in there. Like that. Stick it on. A little shim under it until it dries a little bit. And this is wet. Same thing. Stick it on. Just like that. Okay, what side is which? Right there. Oh, come on. Right there. Same thing. Get us a little shim. Adjust it a little bit. A little fine adjusting. That's it. Got that back in there. Now for this, for just patching up, I'm going to use 2 parts sand for 1 part S mortar. Mix it up. And just add some water and mix it up a little stiffer than usual. Well, that's it. I want this a little harder. You see, it's a little harder so I could, I don't make a mess with the block. Now, I'm going to take this stuff, go right over the top of it. See that? I'm not going to wet nothing. Wetting's going to make a mess out of this. Just patch it up real good. Let it take its time drying. See it? That's all. This is, yeah, I'll leave it in until I get this in. Pack it in up above. See that? Just pack it in. No big deal. That's all. Just patching her up. You have to use your hands, use your hands, no big deal. Now, kind of finishing up. Just finishing up a little bit. I'm not going to play with this. Not going to play with it, but I'm just going to get my sponge and a little water. That's it. Go over it with my finger here. Just go around the sides. Clean it up. I could go and get that cement that matches, but this job is one of those friends jobs. And if they want to paint over that, that's fine. I just want to get it back functional. That's all I want to do. Got it all back in there. You're going to ask me, well, this is going to dry a different color than the rest of it. So since this was a colored cement, it's never going to match. And they don't really care. What do? Well, you just take a little water. You mix it into your little bit of cement, and you could paint the joints. And then that way, everything's going to match up the same. All the joints, and everything's going to match up the same. You just paint it with cement like that. Disguises all that. It looks like you weren't even here. You get a bad spot, just do that with the sponge. That's it. Just paint all the joints. Then everything looks the same. It doesn't look like, you know, a big blinker on one side of it. See? Here we go again. Now I got the wall back this way. It's going to take all the rocks. Put all the rocks back in there. No dirt. I want no dirt in there. All the rocks that were here, I'm going to put it back. Now because all this stuff is moved back a little bit, what I'm using is regular, what I call pea gravel. I put it in there like this. I'm going to move it around, tamp it a little bit. The reason I use pea gravel is because it won't sink anymore. The sand won't get through it, it just doesn't sink. And I have to do it this way because they're not going to fit the old way. So I get my pavers. Like that. Like that. Put it in. Good. I'm going to do the whole thing that way. That's it. It's all finished. Joints are all kind of matching up, and it's not going to be falling into the passageway anymore. Now when I do a job like that, I like to give the people choices. It's just like if you bring a car in for inspection, the guy looks at it and says, well, you need a tie rod, or you need the rust fixed, or you need a couple tires. Same thing with a retaining wall. A lot of people don't have a lot of money to be ripping everything out and doing it brand new. So for a couple hours and $20 worth of cement, I charge them accordingly. They were friends of mine, I don't want to rip them off. So that's the way I look at it. But the first thing you got to know about any type of masonry walls, especially block walls, is they're not strong going sideways. They're only strong going up and down. Because what happens in the winter in Pennsylvania, if the ground freezes, it gets behind there like ice cubes and it pushes the wall. It pushes the wall like this. Every year, maybe just a ½ inch. Finally, the wall is going to come down. And I'm going to show you a picture of a wall doing that right now. Now, a second big thing they like to do with these kind of retaining walls is put these big rods down in here, rebar, and then after 20 years they rust and it busts the wall apart. If you don't believe me, drive through Pennsylvania and look at a lot of our bridges. Now, if you're going to do a little masonry project around your house and you're going to put these fake pavers in or fake dry walls or anything, I would suggest you drive around and you look at all the properties in your area before you do a wall and see if that's going to push or if they're going to rot away. Now, this stuff don't last very good in my area, and I'm going to show you a couple examples right now. Sometimes people ask me, Mike, if you were going to do a retaining wall around your house, what would you do? I'm going to take you to a house. This would be my suggestion. Now, here's my suggestion. If you ever put a retaining wall in, put in something like this. Put the big rocks in and you're done. You can't see if it don't rot away, it don't go bad, and you could always reuse the rocks again. Now that's what I would use if I was really banking something back, because stones last forever. This is man-made stone. That wall you looked at was God-made stone. It's going to last a lot longer. You could reuse it. There's a lot of different ways to do things. What works in California doesn't work in Pennsylvania. What works in Pennsylvania doesn't work in Florida. And what works in Florida doesn't work in Alaska. Everything's different. So drive around. If you're going to do a masonry project, see what you want to do. See what everybody else did. Ask a lot of questions and then go for there. I have a video out called Retaining Walls, Yes or No. And in that video, I give you all the scenarios about whether you should put a retaining wall in or shouldn't you put a retaining wall in. It's food for thought. I also have a playlist called Stone Retaining Walls, Mike Haduck. And that's a list of a lot of the different type of retaining walls I put in. Sometimes you could put a little cheap one in like this if it's just a little garden wall. So these videos are designed to be food for thought. It's supposed to be so that when you come across something, you'll notice it and you'll think about it and maybe make the right decisions. Because masonry is not black and white. You can't say you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. A lot of different scenarios and a lot of different thoughts. So thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck. Until next video.